Time now to unveil the Legendary Moment Award winner, presented by Budweiser, and it's this moment here in Game 6 of the World Series. Jorge Soler with a moonshot to get the party started for the world champion Atlanta Braves. Let's send it to Studio 482 for a former couple of World Series MVPs, Mike Lowell and Jorge Soler. Mike?
Thanks, Roflo, and I'm here with Jorge Soler. Jorge, muchas felicidades. Eres el ganador del momento legendario de Budweiser por tu jonrón en el Juego 6 en la Serie Mundial. Dime las emociones que estabas pensando durante ese turno.
Bueno, muchas gracias por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí. Y en ese turno estaba en 3-2, había dado como 2 fouls y solamente quería poner la pelota en juego, y gracias a Dios salió ese batazo.
Well, he's very happy for the opportunity that he had. And he said he had a 3-2 count, fouled off a couple pitches, and was just looking to make contact. And I'd say he definitely made contact because it went over the train tracks. But that is not the only reason why he won the World Series MVP. Let's take a look at what Jorge Soler did during the postseason to give him that honor.
Jorge Soler, what a pickup he's been for this Atlanta team. How about that start to the World Series? Soler will take the trip. Braves take the lead.
That's some Soler power right there.
Goodbye. Soler with a monster blast.
Whoa! What a display of strength.
World Series MVP, Jorge Soler.
Well, we're going to get right into the first at-bat of the World Series, and Jorge Soler was leading off. Jorge, el primer turno de la Serie Mundial. Había mucha gente que pensaba que Eddie Rosario iba a ser lead-off. Te lo dieron a ti. ¿Qué era la mentalidad tuya empezando ese juego?
Bueno, en ese juego, como bien me estaba diciendo, me pusieron de primer bate y estaba enfocado en hacer buenos contactos y llegar a primera.
His focus was, as the leadoff man, he wanted to make good contact and try to get on base. So let's take a look at that home run. Jorge, cuando vemos el turno aquí, Framber Valdez en el plato, sí. Un buen sinker, tira bien, una curva. ¿Qué estabas pensando tú en el plato?
Bueno, yo le estaba buscando el sinker, el sinker le cogía para abajo y páralo ahí.
If we can pause right there, right before the pitch. Dile.
Estaba buscando un picheo que fuera, estaba buscando sí que fuera un poco alto porque le estaba cogiendo para abajo. Él cayó abajo de la cuenta en 2-0 y dije, ¿sabes? Ahora yo soy el que estoy cómodo. Si me tira un picheo bien alto, le voy a hacer swing.
All right, let's run it, and I'll translate what he was saying. Excellent. Ooh, that's a good way to start. So he was saying that the scouting report on Framber Valdez was that he has a good sinker, a lot of good movement down in the zone, and he wanted to make sure he could make him elevated. After he missed on the first 2 pitches, that 2-0 count, now he's the one that's in control of the at-bat. And as you saw there, belt high, 2-0 fastball, he didn't miss it, put the Braves up 1-0. Jorge, vamos a hablar de la mecánica porque estamos hablando antes que el instructor de bateo de Kansas City, Mike Tosar, que vive en Miami, te ayudó mucho. Tú le das mucho crédito, no solamente físicamente, pero mentalmente en el plato. ¿Cuáles eran las cosas que ustedes trabajando para mejorar como pelotero?
Bueno, eso es correcto. Desde que trabajé en la off-season de 2018, mi carrera me cambió. Lo primordial que hablábamos era la mentalidad y el enfoque cuando uno va a batear a home. Si me tiraron 2 picheos malos, salgo para atrás y como reseteo. Y cojo un 10, cojo aire, como quien dice.
Déjame traducir. I got to translate. This is excellent stuff. Mike Tosar is the minor league hitting coordinator, is the hitting coordinator for the Kansas City Royals, and after the 2018 season, Jorge got together with him. He's a Miami native guy, so it was close to home, and he said he really worked on him mentally, that if there were 2 pitches during an at-bat that he felt like weren't going his way, instead of getting quickly into the at-bat real quick and maybe you can get into a bad rhythm, he would step out, take a deep breath, take a little moment to be able to get back into the frame of mind that he wanted to get into. Entonces, después que uno coge ese paso, tú entras.
Estás como en cero, como quien dice, empezando otra vez.
Okay.
Lo segundo que me habló fue del swing. Yo tenía el swing, me salía muy por fuera y daba muchos rollovers. Y empezamos a trabajar de tirarle más la bola con los brazos más encogidos por dentro. Me decía que yo tenía fuerza, que aunque me llamearan, las bolas iban a caer.
Second thing, first it was the mental part, and the second thing was the physical part. He said, big, strong guy, he would get the tendency to get his arms out, and he would kind of roll over when you get your arms out. So it was more the path of the swing to keep his arms, his hands inside the ball. big and strong guys, we could see, and Tozar really wanted to accentuate that even if he got jammed a little bit or got beat a little, he's strong enough to be able to hit those balls, especially the opposite way, with damage. Ok, entonces, la base. Otra cosa, porque yo sé que a Tozar le gusta decir que uno está atrás. Él habló contigo sobre la base.
Sí, lo otro fue todo el tiempo atrás de la pelota. Al principio yo bateaba, me tiraba, cuando cargaba, me iba mucho para adelante.
La cabeza.
La cabeza se me iba para adelante. Y eso hacía que perdiera también el control del bate. Ahora yo estoy tratando como, cuando tú coges una pelota, ¿cómo la coges? Así. Como así atrás la pelota. Es lo mismo que yo trato de hacer con el bate. Trato de cuando le voy a tirar la pelota, estar con la cabeza atrás, no adelante. Y así me da tiempo a reconocer más el picheo.
Y te da más tiempo. Ajá, el punto de contacto no siempre es tan adelante. Third thing, great stuff, was his head. He wanted him to keep his head behind the ball. He compared it to when you're playing catch. We don't play catch chasing the ball. You want to catch the ball with your head behind it. So when he's at the plate, he said he wanted to have his approach. Obviously, he's right-handed. That when he was going to take his swing, his head was behind his bat, but really accentuating that because if your head starts moving forward, not only do you make the ball move, but then your mechanics break down, and it doesn't put you in that perfect position to make the contact you want. Jorge, ok, vamos a jonrón en el primer juego, jonrón en el juego 6. Pero para mí, el momento que era crítico para ustedes en Atlanta fue cuando viniste del banco pinch hitter, Dansby Swanson dio jonrón para empatar el juego, yo creo que era en la 7ª entrada, y vienes tú y das tu otro jonrón. Háblame de ese turno.
Ese juego del segundo inning estaba haciendo swing en el cage. En todos los innings me iba a hacer el swing en el cage para estar caliente. Creo que es la primera vez que he venido del banco como pinchire y no he sentido que soy pinchire. Me sentía como que era mi cuarto turno. Me sentía caliente.
Vamos a chequearlo. Can we run it here? Okay, he said since the second inning he was getting loose. And he knew he was facing a guy like Christian, so he said he didn't feel like he was really coming off the bench. Hold on right there. Let's pause. Primer picheo, recta bola.
Sí, adentro.
Segundo picheo, slider. Le tiraste, ok, 1-1.
Sí, lo vi bien y lo que se le abrió un poco para afuera,
Okay,
pero yo lo reconocí.
He said he picked it up early, it just broke a little bit more, swing and a miss. Go ahead.
Ya ahí lo había, ¿sabes? Ya lo había visto mejor ya.
Te tiró de 4 picheos, 3 sliders.
Sí, ya ellos me estaban tirando más rompiente y yo estaba también un poquito más preparado para romper.
I love it. Okay, so everyone at home, listen, this is the scouting report. This is the chess match that real good hitters figure out. In that at-bat, first pitch sinker for a ball, second pitch slider. He said he picked it up, broke a little too much, he swung and missed. The third pitch, he laid off the slider, very similar to the one he swung and missed at. And he realized that the pitching approach that the Houston Astros were looking, that he was getting a lot more off-speed pitches, so he was ready for that. 2-1, third slider over the plate, and he crushed it. I mean, I'd love to take that swing right here. Can we take the home run swing one more time if we can go back to that? Because it's one of the main things I think as a hitter is we want to hit pitchers' mistakes. Queremos dar a los errores de los pitchers. Los pitchers buenos son difíciles batearle. So as we go back here, you see first pitch fastball. This is a pitcher's pitch. We got to give them credit every once in a while. Stop right there. Para mí, Jorge, ese fue el picheo más importante del turno.
Sí, claro.
Enseñándole
que yo estaba, que no me iba a, como uno dice, a engañarme con ese picheo.
He said that was a very important pitch because he wanted to prove that he would not be tricked by that pitch. Okay, so now we're there, 2-1. Pitcher can go in any direction.
Ahí el slider era para afuera, pero se le quedó cerca de mí y pude conectar el...
Y gracias que tu compatriota...
compatriota mío ahí que no pudo sacar el guante.
His fellow Cuban in left field, Jordan Alvarez, didn't make a play on him. But I find it so interesting when you see the progression of hitters, not only from at-bat to at-bat, from series to series, game to game, of how guys understand how the team is approaching him, how you can make adjustments. Que para mí es súper importante, interesante saber que los bateadores como nosotros en la temporada y la postemporada más todavía, hay que hacer ajustes, no solamente de juego a juego, pero de turno a turno, ¿no?
Exactamente. En el mismo juego tienes que hacer ajustes porque tú tienes un reporte de pitches y tú te imaginas lo que vas a hacer, pero el primer turno te pichó de esta manera. En el segundo turno vuelve a lo mismo, entonces ya tú tienes que hacer un ajuste.
He says it's at-bat to at-bat. Oftentimes, before the game, we get a scouting report. You know how the pitcher's going to pitch. But the first at bat, you could see something. Second at bat, if they continue at, you have to show the ability to make that adjustment. Bueno, el juego 6, el último jonrón. La razón que estás recibiendo el momento legendario de la Serie Mundial. Háblame de este turno. Bueno, lo dijiste antes, pero Luis García, alguien no muy conocido, ¿tuviste el turno contra él?
Sí, en el juego, el primer juego de la casa, el primero o el segundo juego de la casa, no recuerdo. Él nos pichó y nos tiró 5 innings en blanco. Tiene muy buen slide y se hacía difícil reconocerlo.
Yes, he was, I believe, Game 2 starter or Game 3 starter in Atlanta, and he said he had seen him, so he understood that he had a very good slider. Tiene el rock the baby approach.
Sí, también,
para el timing de uno, ¿no?
Sí, también me molestaba un poco porque me preparaba como antes de tiempo y después tenía que aguantarme.
Yeah, he said he had to really kind of coordinate his timing because, you know, he does that little rock the baby approach on the mound. So it took a little bit of an adjustment. So here we go. Aquí 3-1, 3-2. Slider, de nuevo.
Y en ese turno el mío era que me tirara la recta alta. Si me tiraba recta alta, yo lo que quería solamente era como darle foul, porque me había también tirado un core como alto que se veía bueno, pero le cogía para el lado.
Keep pausing there. He said he was very aware of his fastball up because he had thrown him a cutter earlier in that bat, and it really had good movement. So he wanted to be able to at least fight that off, foul it off, and maybe, you know, live for the next pitch. Jorge, 3-2. ¿Protegiendo el plato, buscando el picheo tuyo o una mezcla?
Estaba mezclado y estaba más flojo. Me traté de aflojar más y hacerle un contacto a la pelota. Creo que si hubiera estado más rudo no lo hubiera haber conectado a ese rompiente.
I asked him if he was basically a defensive approach, or still looking for his pitch, or a little bit of a mix. He said it was a little bit of a mix, but not so gung-ho on, you know, maybe a favorable count like a 2-0 swing. He wanted to kind of lessen it, open up the plate, I guess the decision on what pitches to hit, and just really be able to put something in play. Okay, dos foul. Slider, recta. Whew.
El slider se le quedó ahí para arriba en mí. Y le pude conectar.
Y ahí le estabas hablando a Robert Flores, el que te presentó ahí, el fanático de Houston, ¿no? I asked him if he was doing that for Robert Flores.
Le estaba mandando un saludo.
Yeah. Esto es lo que me encanta a mí, del ángulo. Go ahead, you guys can run it. La cabeza, perfecto.
Todo en control, sí.
Wow. Okay, take this back. Let's look at his head from the beginning. You could take it back quick all the way to his setup. Look at the head, how it starts before the load. When his foot goes down, go ahead. When his foot goes down, I mean, that head movement is minimal. Eso es súper importante.
Sí, claro, porque mientras menos mueves la cabeza, la vista no te...
He says that's a very big point for him because the less head movement you can make, the less movement that ball's going to make when it's coming. Just an outstanding World Series. The reason why he won the World Series MVP as a Cuban-American, someone that we could be really proud of. That's a great picture. I'm sure. Mucho sonrisa ahí, mucha felicidad ahí.
Mucha felicidad.
Roflo, I'm sorry, but this is the World Series MVP. Back to you.
Yeah, he is the World Series MVP, and let's compare, because we got our own World Series MVP up on the set with us here. Mikey did it in 2007, 6 for 15, 4 extra base hits, 4 RBIs. Jorge Soler out-homered the Astros by himself.
Wow.
In this past World Series. So congratulations to Jorge Soler, and thank you very much for the time. That was excellent, Mike. Great stuff.